All right, everybody, we're going to be talking about the recession that we are amidst. We're going to be relating kind of what has happened in history to make the winning companies come out of recession successfully. We have these myths that we've made that recessions are terrible, that recessions are bad. But recessions, in some cases, in every case, has a good side. It has a bright side. When we look at recessions, what happens? We get the people and the companies that were unprepared, that were weak, that were useless, and they drop out. These people drop out because they were not ready, and they could not support their company, their business, their model amidst a recession. So this needs to happen. This needs to happen. This is nature. This is evolution. This is what needs to happen in business. And so ultimately, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through a couple of cryptocurrencies or a few cryptocurrencies. I'm going to list 3. And we're going to talk about how they relate to companies that have survived in the past during recessions. So businesses that have not only survived, but actually thrived after the recession, post-recession. First 3 businesses I want to go over all have a lot of things in common, actually. These 3 businesses all survived the 2008 housing crisis. Not only that, they launched during the crisis. Some on the tail end, and you're going to recognize all 3 of these names, I can assure you. All 3 of these businesses are now very, very widely adopted and used on an everyday basis. And they all have really a big thing in common. So I want you guys to pay attention. So let's get into these 3 companies. So these 3 companies, starting off, Uber. So Uber launched in March 2009, the tail end of the 2008 housing crisis, which spanned from about 2007 to 9, I believe, was this sort of little recession period. We have Airbnb, which launched during the 2008 housing crisis, and then we also have Venmo, same kind of story. So let's go over these 3 companies and what they really did. Because, guys, I like to break things down to a logical, conceptual level that is easy to understand, that a first grader can understand. Kindergartners should be able to understand what I'm saying. Okay? And so everything I say, I'm going to break it down. And so that's why we're starting off with these companies and not these cryptos. I don't want to just throw it in your face. Oh, this company's good because of this. This crypto's good because of this. I really want to make this idea. I really want to lead the way so you guys fully understand kind of my train of thought on this, okay? Because it's very important. Uber is a company that replaces taxis, replaces an old service with something that is 1,000,000 times better. And what I mean by this, well, one, not the most important thing, it has the super clean UI. It's very simple for people to use. You can get an app, you download it, you say, I'm here, type in your address, you make a little profile, boom. Anytime you need a ride, you just go to this app. Very simple. But the 2 things that are very important about Uber is Uber completely replaces the taxi model where you have to own all of these vehicles. They don't own any vehicles. They're a middleman. They're a middleman. So then what they also do is they reduce the cost of getting from place to place. You save a lot of money by using an Uber over a taxi. Plus, the ease of use is amazing. And so on. So the actual company is cutting expenses relative to a taxi company, but also they're cutting expenses for the person who needs this transportation. Right? So it's kind of it's a win-win. Airbnb. What is Airbnb? If you guys don't know these companies, I'm really surprised you've been living under a rock. So what is Airbnb? Airbnb is a replacement to an old model, the old model of hotels. Why would you ever go into a scummy, gross hotel that's going to cost you 10 times more than an Airbnb? You can get a nice little cottage out of the way on your business trip. It doesn't only cut the expenses for the company of having to buy an entire piece of real estate. Airbnb doesn't own a single piece of real estate. What else does it do? What also cuts the cost of a hotel, which is what the solution that people used to go to. It cuts that cost right out of the equation, and now you just have to pay basically dirt. And not only does it do that, it actually makes people money. These middlemen, or not these middlemen, these people who are getting middled, essentially, money. So random people who own random real estate that they're not using, it also provides them a solution, right? And the same goes for Uber. Somebody's working their 9 to 5. Oh, well, they can make a little bit more money driving around. So it not only creates jobs, makes people money, but it also saves people money who use this service. And they're also saving money because it's cost effective. So it's an amazing system, really. And lastly, Venmo, money transfer app, saves on fees. I'm not going to go too in depth, but essentially, same kind of deal, right? Same kind of deal. So what can we take from these three businesses? Well, all three of them are cutting expenses for the company. They're cutting expenses for the individual, period. Those are two main aspects that we really need to focus up on. Now, I'm going to go into the next segment of this, which is going to build a little center for us, because the center of all this is what makes a successful company during a recession, right? And the main thing, obviously, even outside of a recession, is profit. You want to make profit. So how do you make profit? You either increase revenue or you cut expenses. So step one here, Uber, Airbnb, Venmo, very good examples of people who cut expenses significantly. Point two, revenue. How do you make more revenue when nobody's got money to spend? And this is what I would call the war of attrition. When nobody has money to spend, there is no more liquidity in these markets. So somebody like a computer company, multiple computer companies, are trying to battle for these consumers, the little liquidity that's in the computer industry, what was once considered a luxury item, and I wouldn't even consider it a luxury item anymore because people use them every day for actual needs. But back in the day, computers were luxury items. So startup computer companies during a recession were dying. They were dying because a startup for a computer company is a huge expense. Right? But who survived? Who survived recessions? Well, basically any company that survived over 10, 20 years has seen one or two recessions. And a very good example of this would be Microsoft. Microsoft is a very good example of this because Microsoft not only survived but thrived after the recession and survived multiple recessions. So Microsoft and Hewlett-Packard, HP, both survived recessions and did amazing. Because what did they do? They won the war of attrition. They survived what most companies couldn't. And so what happens when there's a bunch of companies and everybody's everybody's losing? Should they all close? No, if you can out-survive all these companies, even if you're in the hole for the first 2 years, there's going to be a lot of companies that die, and then where do their customers go? Well, the remaining customers that they did have are going to migrate to the new companies. So as everybody's dying, they're all going to Microsoft HP because Microsoft HP survived. They had the capital, they had the leadership to help pivot and adjust perhaps their expenses, etc. And they survived because they were prepared. So I guess the two main aspects of this, like I said, revenue cutting expenses, but also survival, cost efficiency. Those are the two main things that we really have to think about and what we are going to transfer over to crypto. So in the case where all of these companies that I just listed weren't in a recession, do you think they'd be as successful? I think they all have their use case. I think they might all slowly rise. And especially because clearly they all had good leadership. But because they were in a recession, they boomed. They skyrocketed. And that is something that we really have to think about. Because few survive a recession. But the ones who do, they go to the moon. I'm not a maxi, and I don't promote the whole we're going to the moon kind of what I would call toxicity. But yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, guys, we're going to relate this to our crypto now. And what crypto I believe are going to be the winners, which I can say with certainty are going to be the winners. No financial advice. There's going to be somebody who comes out the tail end of this recession especially in this new market of crypto. And we're going to see a lot of big players drop because they're useless, because they have no use case. Right? They're not cost efficient. They're not saving people money. They're not making people money. You might make the argument, oh, like if you invest and then they do go up, there might be this, sheep mentality where it just goes up, just like Dogecoin. But that's when people have throwaway money, when people are just throwing money away at whatever they can. And don't get me wrong, after the recession, these 3 coins that I'm going to list will be accompanied by other more useless coins, inevitably, because in a bull market, people still have throwaway money. But these are truly going to take their stand, and they're going to be at the top. And so what are these 3 coins? I'm going to start with 2 most obvious ones that I think you guys have probably heard a lot about. I'm sorry, I'm no maxi for really any coin. The future is mysterious. We could not have ever predicted this FTX scandal, this FTX business that happened. So that is living proof that nobody can truly predict the future. But I'm here to tell you that the odds are in the favor of these 3 coins and these 2 that I'm about to list, which are XLM, XRP. No surprise here. How can we relate these 2 coins to what we were just talking about? Both of these coins save people money. And how do they do that? Well, when people want to transfer money abroad, say they have a family in Indonesia and they're living in the United States, they can transfer their money through XLM rather than going through 7 different banks trying to get the native Indonesian currency, right? So now they're saving money on all those fees, and there's a lot of people who are in situations who need to consistently transfer money abroad. And this goes for not only one class, because if you think about it, when it comes to companies like Airbnb, when it comes to companies like Venmo and Uber, the higher class probably isn't using these apps, using these resources. The thing about XRP, XLM is the higher class is using them. Every single class is using them, right? So that is very important because we can, if you just think about this logically, that means these can scale a lot larger than those companies, right? So people who want to send $1,000 to their family in Indonesia are also accompanied by people who want to send $10 million abroad to their family. Every class is going to use this, and every class is going to save on fees because it's percentage based, right? When it comes to transferring money abroad through banks, they wind up taking a percentage fee off of your transfer. So that scales. The wealthy aren't going to like that. What do the wealthy do? Well, they switch to these crypto solutions like XLM. And then, of course, XRP. What is XRP doing? Well, XRP is saving money on bank transfers. So even in a recession, the banks are hurting as well. The banks are pinching pennies as well. So they need their solutions as well. Many have already adopted XRP solutions with XRapid or their new service now. Now that we're in a recession, they're going to be scraping at the XRP walls trying to get onboarded because they want to save pennies as well. Once we get into this recession and people truly start feeling it, they're going to want these new services, just like people needed the services of Airbnb, Venmo, and Uber. Like I said, in a normal market, they might have been adopted slowly over time, and it would have been a slow rise. But because they launched in a recession and were so cost effective, they boomed. So now here we are going into the recession. Who's going to survive? The people who have that cost efficiency, who are saving people money and providing value. On to our last coin that I'm going to mention, because I'm trying to keep this video short, and I know there's a lot more I could be going into, of course, with XLM XRP. But when we're talking about strictly history and how we can relate this history to crypto, these are the points I'm going to be making in this video. Now, with this next coin I'm going to be talking about, I made a video. You guys should definitely go check it out. 2 videos ago, I believe, I made this video talking about this coin. Very educational video. You should definitely check it out to know the true value of it, because I feel like a lot of people overlook this coin or scoff at this coin because there's a lot of misconceptions. But this coin is Quant, QNT. And QNT is more than just a coin. QNT, I'm going to go into a little bit about what I did in my last 2 videos ago about Quant. But I'm not going to go into super detail. I'm just going to quickly explain what this coin does. So The coin is just a means of payment for the service that Quant provides, which is many. But the main aspect that I want to go over in this video is the overledger. Now, the overledger is amazing because what the overledger does is it creates this opportunity for enterprises. This is an enterprise grade technology. This isn't built for your retail. It can be utilized by retail, but mainly built for enterprise use. It solves the problem of adoption scalability. And what I mean by that is imagine you're a bank and you want to adopt a new blockchain solution. You want to adopt a blockchain solution to store all your data, per se. Just for this example. You're a bank. You start storing all your data on, I don't know, Solana. Yeah, Solana. You start storing all your info on Solana. Then all of a sudden, this new blockchain technology arises. Solana doesn't support it. The foundational technology cannot support it. So it cannot update to support this new technology. Well, now you're this bank that has to transfer all your data from Solana to this new blockchain technology. And that could cost you a lot of money. Because if you guys know anything about blockchain, interoperability is not, it's not fully developed. It's not great. But Overledger is. Overledger is the key to the best interoperability possible. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, and it's probably lost all its meaning at this point. But that's what I want to try to explain. I want to avoid the word interoperability as much as I can so I can get the actual message across. Now, here's where Overledger comes in handy. Okay, Overledger. Now, instead of that bank putting all their eggs into one basket with Solana, they can simply adopt Overledger, which has APIs readily available to interact with multiple blockchains. So rather than maybe you're okay with spreading your data out on multiple blockchains, and now you have 29,000 developers that are able to communicate with all these blockchains, because each blockchain has a different native language, right? And that makes things complicated. But when you have an API that is able to communicate with all these blockchains seamlessly, you can have one developer, one, maybe three, maybe five. I don't know. Depends on the size of your company. But the point is, rather than spending money as a company, as a business owner, I don't want to spend money on 9 devs. I'd rather have one dev who's proficient in the one thing that can communicate with everything and that is scalable for my customer. Right? So that's the thing. Overledger is not only scalable for these companies, these banks, enterprises that want to adopt blockchain technology, because now, instead of putting their eggs into one basket, putting that into Solana, they can simply use Overledger and utilize all the tools from different blockchains. And as these technologies come out, as these new blockchain technologies come out, Quant is going to be able to build interoperability between them, and therefore you will always have access to the latest tech. That is the good thing about Overledger. They will always keep the enterprises they are working with the latest tech, and cost efficient for them, because now they only need 1, 2, 3 developers, depending on the size of it's all relative, size of the business, that are proficient in Overledger APIs. That is why Overledger is so good. Now, you might be telling yourself, and if you are, I feel sorry for you because you are dumb. Oh, there's not going to be like new technology that blockchain can't support, that, my favorite blockchain can't support. Think about it this way. Bitcoin came out first, right? Bitcoin was big, amazing solution to tracking value, essentially. You could have coins and you could track them between all these different wallets and couldn't be hacked. Well, couldn't be hacked. But then you had a new solution that came out, the second big solution, smart contracts. Smart contracts are absolutely amazing. And that's where we are now, smart contracts. There's other little things in between, but the two main things I would say are the actual coins and the technology of blockchain, and then smart contracts. So if you think there's not going to be the next level up, if you think there's not going to be the next shiny new piece of technology that surprises everybody, you are mistaken, my friend. So we are just waiting for that to happen, right? Why do you think certain blockchains don't have the solutions that other blockchains have? Because they're foundationally not capable of performing those tasks. Okay? So when we do get this next blockchain that has this new technology, we can safely assume that none of or most of the current blockchains will not support that new technology. And therefore, you need a bit of interoperability that will be able to connect them, a new bridge that will be able to connect them. And that is why I'm so bullish on Quant, because it is a scalable solution for enterprises. Enterprises will adopt this, especially in the face of a recession. Because in a recession, you want to be cost effective. I can't afford 10 devs to be able to provide me with developers that can communicate with 10 different blockchains. I'd rather the one solution that can utilize all the technologies, right? And as we progress and more enterprises start utilizing these technologies and utilizing multiple blockchain technologies, we are going to need this solution. So guys, that is why I am very bullish on Quant. I really highly suggest you guys go check out that video. I'm going to put it above here. Go check that out. It's very educational. I talk about SIA and its involvement with Quant and how Quant actually got access to about 600 banks and is providing Overledger services for 600 banks through SIA here. I don't know if that number has changed. I haven't looked in a while, but it is a crazy deal that went down, and there's much more to come with Quant. That is just proof that what I am saying now is the living truth. So guys, if you are smart, if you have any logic at all at breaking this stuff down, and obviously there's a lot of things I'm missing here. Like obviously with Quant, there's so many other solutions they're providing, like MLTs. They're part of the Digital Pound Foundation. There's a lot to go on with Quant that I could go on and I could rant about all day. Same with XLM XRP. This video, I'm strictly talking about the fundamentals of surviving a recession, and this is how these companies are going to survive the recession. Just like Venmo, Uber, Airbnb, these coins here hold the same principles that all of these ones did. Same with the law of attrition. XLM, XRP, Quant all have very large capitals. They both all have very good leaders who are ready to pivot, who are ready to go through the rough road and survive. All of these companies are going to survive the law of attrition as these other blockchains and Web3 solutions fail. XRP, XLM, Quant are going to thrive, and the consumers from these useless blockchains and these useless coins are going to flock to the useful coins, the useful crypto. And of course, no financial advice, guys, but this is what I think. This is like the future for me. This is my universe. So welcome. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you check out that Quant video that I made. Very, very, very important that you guys know, because Quant is very overlooked technology. Overledger is very overlooked. I'm going to make more videos on Quant if you guys are interested in that sort of thing, but also XLM, XRP, HBAR, 88, etc., etc. I'm going to be making videos on this sort of thing. So I'll see you in the next one.